Well, summer access is underway for Coach Scott Nagy and the Salukis. It feels just like yesterday in a way that your opening press conference was just down the hall, but also feels like it was like a year ago,
Yeah,
Coach Nagy.
I think it feels like yesterday for you, but it doesn't for us. I mean, we've been, I don't ever want to have to do it. We just did the last month and a half recruit 10 players, but it's been, and I hope we don't. I think we'll be able to keep most of our guys, and I think with the coaching transition, all of that, that's just part of the deal. And so it was a hard thing, but boy, our staff did a great job. They worked their tails off.
Well, a big part of it was we need to give you time to go get your staff as well, and get your staff to then ultimately get your players in here. Let's tackle the staff part first. That's such a huge piece to everything that you do. What do you like about the staff that you've been able to assemble and get to work to find this roster together that you've been doing over the last month and a half?
Good. I just think good experience. If you look at our staff now, we have almost 110 years of college basketball experience, over 60 years of head coaching experience, and so that helps me. It just, really the one guy that's doesn't have the coach behind his name, Justin Ensley, might be the best hire I made, because he just knows this whole SIU system, and we almost let him do too much. I was telling the coach the other day, hey, we got to pick up the pace here because, we're just relying on him so much, and he's starting to do things that we should be doing. So, he was a great hire. I just think we have a good mix of young and old, and when I talk about old, I'm talking about probably just me and Coach Hawkins, and the rest of the guys feel like they're young guys. But I think it's a good combination of that. And recruiting, we worked hard. It's gone well, but I'm glad that part of it's over, and it's amazing. It's over very quickly, and already we're into the 25s, and those guys are coming on campus tomorrow, and so it gets, they all just run into each other.
To give the fans a little bit of perspective, I think everybody knows it can be a little bit chaotic in terms of just all the different visits, organizing all those things, how important it is for you guys as a staff to have all that organized. But what were the best ways that you found with your staff once you got that in place of, okay, here are some areas we want to target, here are some guys we want to go and look at. How do you try to navigate just all of, I don't want to say distractions, but there's a lot of different avenues that you could go on in today's day and age of how you want to fill a roster.
There are, and it's not normally how I would want to do it. There's just no way that this would be my normal operating mode in terms of being in the portal and junior college. And but one thing I love is we have great balance. We have 3 freshmen, 3 sophomores, 4 juniors, 3 seniors. It might be the best balance I've ever had. I'd have to look back at all my teams, but that's what we wanted, and so the key now is being able to keep those guys. And in my opinion, that's what NIL was designed for, was to keep and take care of your players that have done well, and everybody knows, and so that's really what we want to be able to do now. The only thing I don't like about what we've done, and there's nothing we can do about it, is here we are, Southern Illinois, and we have 1 player from the state of Illinois on our team, and so that will change for us. I'm not overly concerned by that, and if we win, nobody will care anyway. But also, it's just we want to be representative of Southern Illinois and what people enjoy, and I know the history here. So, I think that will be a main focus for us as we move forward. And quite frankly, who we want to recruit now are just high school players. That's who we want to go after and then grow those guys up through our program.
It's one of those things, Coach Nagy, where I'm sure with you too, when you see people in the community, so many people are like, hey, Luke, what do you think? What do you think of the roster? It's like, well, you got to see them really come to fruition. That's why this time is such an important time for you guys here in the summer. But it looked like just today, off one day, you have a lot of length.
Yeah, they're not all here. We are long. We're very athletic. It's probably not quite a team that I've ever had. I don't know how. I'm just wondering offensively where we're going to be. That's usually not a concern for me. It's the defense concern for me, and I feel like it's going to be flipped here. But quite frankly, after last year's team that I coached that was so good offensively, one of the best, it was the best offense team I ever had, and we won 18 games. And there are a couple players on this team now that we had them on that team, not from a scoring standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint, we'd have won 25 games. And so I love the communication. I love the toughness that we're going to have, the physicality, the length. We should be a great defensive team. I mean, a great one if the kids will commit. And if we are, we're going to score. I'm not concerned about that. Will we have a kind of team that I had last year? I don't think so. But I don't, that team won 18 games. It was the best offense team I ever had and won 18 games. And so that doesn't do me any good. I want the toughness that I think we have and the defensive mindset that I think we're going to have.
Well, the other side of that too, Coach Nagy, as you said it, you wanted to have some pieces that could be at least a little bit of carryover. You mentioned important to have someone like Justin Inslee on your staff because he's been here. He knows Southern Illinois. You, of course, had 3 guys who have been here that come over from Jared Hensley, Kennard Davis, and Sheridan Sharp. Those 3 guys before we get to the 10 guys that you have to recruit to come in, what do you like about those guys that have stayed, that want to continue to play for you here at SIU?
Well, they really have a desire to and want to see Southern Illinois do well. I think they have some loyalty. They like it here, and they have that desire to see Southern Illinois and their university do well. They've been good leaders and loyal, and so from that standpoint, I hope we can take good care of them.
You mentioned taking good care of them, and of course those guys, Jarrett and Kennard, both specifically, played a lot a year ago. Sheridan maybe didn't play a lot, but one thing I noticed with Sheridan too, you could see the weight rooms really made a big impact on him. Guys who finally get in the weight room for a year, that have that freshman body, looks like they can continue to mature and have chances to continue to play as they go throughout their career.
Yeah, I was looking at Sheridan today, and I'm pretty sure with 2 hands I could put around his waist. I mean, that you're never going to change. I mean, he's thin, but obviously, quite frankly, just from my experience, guys that have thin waists like that are great athletes, and he is. He's fast. He's quick. He can still be physical even if he doesn't weigh 200 pounds. I mean, I've had players like him that are very physical, and that's going to be like we're going to ask that from everybody to be physical.
What's always great about this time, Coach Nagy, to me, and especially even more so when you come in with the new staff, is seeing what voices will emerge, especially a group of guys that maybe haven't been around one another. I was really impressed with Damian Mayo here on the first day. Obviously, Damian is well known within the Valley because he's got experience of playing in this league. But what about the leadership qualities that maybe you saw through the short recruiting process that you had with him, that it really seems like early he's going to be a voice that you can really lean heavily on with this team?
Well, it's one of the reasons why we went after him hard, because we knew he was a great leader. I mean, if you just want to go look at stats, you go, but we knew enough about him to know he's a great leader, and he's one of the players I'm talking about. Had we had a guy like Damian on the team that I had last year, we'd have won 25 games because he's demanding of everybody, including himself, and doesn't just let me do all the work. And, some of the stuff he said today, I haven't been around that in a while, where somebody just takes over and doesn't make me do all the leadership stuff. And so I love having him. He's a great addition. And he's going to force everybody to get to a certain level, which is great.
Of course, Damian being one of those 10 new guys that come in, kind of touched up on it a little bit at the start, but what did you see as most important, of whether it was a position you wanted to attack, whether it was the attributes that you look for? What were the biggest things, Coach Nagy, that you were like, whoever you bring in, you want to make sure that they fit this type of profile for you?
Yeah, it was less about the athletic portion of it and more about the character portion of it. Because we can always move guys around, and on this team we don't have what you want to call a true point guard. We don't have one on the team. We have some guys that are combos like Sheridan, but we just don't have a true point guard, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine because we still have good leaders. And so it was less about the athletic side of it and more about making sure let's don't be in such a hurry that we take somebody that's a question mark character-wise, and I don't think we've done that. I'm not saying all our guys are angels. They're not, but neither am I, and neither are you and anybody else. And so I think that expectation is a little ridiculous, but I do think we have guys that other people would want to be in the locker room with.
You mentioned may not have necessarily a true point guard on your roster. How much that gets maybe made up a lot, whether it's for media folks or those who may not be in it day to day. And a lot of it is how you play and how your team is going to look. How much of an important is it to have someone who is a true point guard versus, Because a lot of people have different feelings about it.
Go look at the Celtics. They don't have a true point guard. And really neither do the Mavericks. You got two teams now. People say, well, Kyrie is, but they're running him at the 2, and you got a 6'7", 6'8" guy running the point, and so I think some of that is overblown. I think obviously you want people who can handle it and handle pressure, but we have great size on the wings. We still have good ball handling. And so, we're going to play fast, and it doesn't have to be the point guard bringing the ball up the floor all the time. For us, it may be our foreman. There are all kinds of ways to skin a cat, and we just have to take the team we have and figure out how to do that the best we can.
You talked about with your team today, too, just the importance of, one, those leadership qualities, being able to get those quality voices within your practice. But also you talked a lot about being able to run. And there's ways where you can say, hey, everybody wants to talk about we want to run. But then when we show you this is what it takes, then you're kind of like, wow, okay, that's really what it takes to run. How is this time right now kind of important of hitting those values, Coach Nagy, that you really bring up with your team?
The summer's everything for us from that standpoint, from the camaraderie standpoint, building a team. This summer is going to be huge. And we really do have a lot of good players, and if everybody stays healthy, quite frankly, some of them may not play. And so this is a big summer for everybody to buy into what we're doing, what we're talking about. I say this all the time. We can never guarantee not one player's success. I can't guarantee you that you'll be successful here. The only thing I can guarantee you is that if you don't do what we tell you to do, I guarantee you won't play. And that's hard because most people want to know, Coach, if I do what you say, if I'm a good teammate, that I'll get to play. And I can't guarantee that because if everybody does that, the best players are going to play. And so that's a hard thing for people to face. So, it's a big summer for us in all kinds of respects, but I think most even off the floor, those kind of things where guys, when the coaches aren't around, that they're spending time together and getting to know each other and becoming a family, a real family, because right now we're not. We're a bunch of individuals that are trying to figure that out, but I hope that that's what we can become eventually.
To build off of that, we'll close on this note, Coach Nagy. Obviously, it's a long summer ahead. There's going to be a lot of team sessions that you have, but the importance of your guys taking time outside of your team time to work on all of their games, to be able to get in the gym, to get that extra work. I think that's important regardless of the time of year, but you really hinted on it as, guys, when we get our time to work together, we're going to work, but there's also more to it than just our team time that we get throughout the summer.
I don't build much shooting into practice. If you want to shoot, you better come before, you better stay after, you better come in at night, because when we practice, we're going to go, and that's one way for me to keep practices shorter. So they don't drag out, so we don't have more injuries. People are tired mentally, physically. We try to keep our practices really short and really get after it. But yeah, I have guys that just love to get in the gym, and other guys don't. So we've always tried to recruit people that will and love to, so we don't have to ask them to. And I told them today, most days I couldn't tell you who the first guy in the gym is, but I can almost always tell you who the last guy in it. So you don't want to be that guy. You do not want to be that guy.
Coach, appreciate the time today. Look forward to catching up with you throughout the summer.
All right, thanks.
1, 2, 3.
Thanks, Coach.